You may know her best as a singer and songwriter, but you may even know her more so from her viral TikTok video introducing to the world her wedding song, Love Can Be, that she wrote and surprised her husband on her wedding day. The song has received wide praise from industry professionals and an overwhelming positive response on TikTok, where multiple videos of the song amazed hundreds of thousands of views into where people are using it for their engagements and their wedding days. You are all in for a treat, and I'm so excited and honored to have Rebecca Ray on today's episode of My World with Stories podcast.
How are you, Brooke?
Good, how are you?
I'm so good. I'm so grateful you asked me to be on here today. I'm so excited.
I am too. Well, first off, I'm really excited to have you on today.
Thank you.
You write amazing, and I saw you on TikTok.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So sweet. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is so cool how all this worked out. And I really appreciate you. Like, I know it's been like a couple months since we've started like communicating and everything, but this is great. I'm glad it finally worked out.
Me too.
Yeah.
All right. Did you ever think to yourself that you would actually be like a singer-songwriter today, or like did you not?
Yes. So for being a singer-songwriter, well, my musical journey started when I was really young, really young. I started playing piano when I was 4. Um, but I didn't really think about songwriting until I was like 12 or 13.
Mhm.
And that's really when I learned that, oh, wait, when I write this on piano, how I had like really expanded my abilities on piano to the point where I felt like I could actually compose. And that's when like my mind just went, oh my gosh, I don't just need to play classical music all the time. I can literally create something and the possibilities are endless. So I think when I was 12 or 13 is when I really started doing that. And that was nearly 10 years ago for me. So yeah.
I find it amazing that like people like they have like that as a hobby, and like sometimes people are like, "Oh, don't go into your hobby," but what the hey.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, if it brings you joy, do it. It doesn't matter if it's like necessarily your job necessarily or just a hobby. Like I'm a believer, and so I believe that God has gifted us with certain abilities that it would be a shame to not use.
Yeah.
So really grateful for that.
So, how'd you like first get like introduced to music?
Oh my. Well, this is going to sound so silly. When I was born,
Mhm.
my grandmother, like, there's this whole thing. My grandma saw my hands and she's like, oh, like she has like long fingers. She should be a pianist. And I was just kind of like, oh, yeah, maybe. And then my parents got me like a play piano when I was like 2. And I started, apparently, according to them, I would pick out things I heard on Sesame Street. And then my grandma was like, well, shoot, let's get her in piano lessons. So that's when she started me in piano lessons. And um I quickly like loved it. When I was in 8th grade is when I started doing more classical piano music.
Mm.
But I also used to dance when I was little, but my dance academy like closed when I was 10, and my mom was like, what do you want to do instead of dancing? And I was like, you know what, I think I really want to learn to sing.
Mm.
And so I was in singing lessons for my time in middle school, 12 to 14, um, and didn't pursue it in high school just because I had so much going on. But that's what opened up doors for me to be able to lead worship at a couple different churches in North Carolina where I grew up. And that like followed me into college where I was like, I don't know, I just really enjoyed music so much that I thought pursuing music for my degree would be something that I'd love to do. And my college offered a commercial music songwriting degree.
Mm.
And so that's what I pursued. And it's let me meet a whole lot of wonderful people, wonderful team, like a lot of different co-writers, people that I'm hopefully going to be connected to for the rest of my life. And I'm really grateful for that. So yeah.
Yeah. I kind of relate to that when you said that, like, you like stopped dancing and then you went into singing because like that was me for a long time. Like I did dance like for years and years and then finally I was like I just want to sing.
Yeah, that's so cool. Wait, when did you get into singing?
Well, I've been doing it since I was, like, 2, like, I grew up,
Wow.
um, doing it a lot. I got introduced early to it, I think I like to say, because I was so obsessed with the movie Mamma Mia. So, like,
I love Mamma Mia.
my parents, they, like, got me, like, all hooked onto it, and I would just sing and sing and sing, and then, like, when, like, my dance classes were over, I would go over to my grandparents' house, and I would just sing and sing and sing, and we would, like, record stuff, and then, like, I got to a point, I think, like, when I was, like, 13 where I was like, "I wanna actually take voice lessons and take it seriously,"
Yeah.
so,
That is so much fun. Oh my gosh. They go very hand in hand. That's awesome.
you are on TikTok, and you I like to say you're kinda like me because I really like TikTok, and I think it, like it could put people out there, and it could really make a name for people, and you posted a video of this new song that you were writing, and it, like, kind of went viral. Yeah. Um, so there's, like obviously, there's a backstory to it of that. Um, can you explain what you were doing on TikTok?
Yes, girl, TikTok, oh my gosh, my relationship with TikTok has been wild. So, started on it in 2020 when everyone was getting on there because what else would you be able to do? Everyone was stuck at home. So, I started on it then, but I wasn't really posting a whole lot. It wasn't literally until like January of this year I had like 100 followers, right? I was just posting covers of stuff and then I shared like a mashup of a song which I like two songs which I have completed the whole thing. I just need to finish producing it and I want to learn to release it if I can somehow get the rights to it. It's complicated, but it was my mashup of Ceilings and Golden Hour.
Mm,
And that was the first thing that I posted that I think for me it was a lot of people who saw it. I was like, I can't believe like I had had success on social media on reels before. I've had 4 reels go viral, but it was just for like for fun. It was me posting about my husband, just having a good time. But then I had never had anything of mine, of my own creative, like mind, like my music, ever see success like that on any kind of social media platform. So when I shared about my wedding song and I saw so many people not only loved it, but could relate, and everyone was commenting and saying, like, this is exactly my relationship with like my fiance, my husband. It was just like confirmation that like this is what I'm supposed to do. Like it was just really, really sweet. But yeah, I had written this song um 2 years ago for my husband as a complete surprise for our wedding day. Um, he had no idea about it, but I really wanted to write a song for us to dance to. And I had gone for like months and months and months leading up to our wedding, like, what on earth am I going to do? It has to be perfect. It has to be perfect. But like, I'm not even kidding you. 2 weeks before our wedding day, got the whole song completely like it was like it went from like maybe like half a chorus to like the entire song in
mm,
like a couple days. And then I was like, thank you, Lord. Like I felt like it was a gift for him from him, like just helping me write everything that I wanted to say. That was the extended version as we know it. I decided to trim part of it for the sake of like length.
mm.
But I have both that trimmed version and the extended version on all streaming platforms. It's called Love Can Be. But yeah, we got to the day of, I had produced it myself. Just a really quick like demo version, add some strings in there. And he had no idea until we walked on the dance floor. And he was like, "What song is this?" And I was like, "Surprise, my wedding gift to you." So he was just, it was so sweet. He was tearing up. Everyone was tearing up. I was tearing up singing it back to him. But it was just, I feel like that it's such a sweet thing when you write a song for someone that you love. Um, it's, sometimes people write songs to write songs or write songs about, but it's just when it's someone, it's like, I feel like it's one of the most sweet gifts that you can give to someone. It's like a piece of your heart. So that was my experience in writing it. And then I waited 2 years because I was like, I want to have the funds to be able to make this, because it's not, it's a big deal to try to record and produce and mix and master, but I had one of my professors at my college, he produced it and mixed it and mastered it, and he was just incredible. And that was another thing that was so sweet, is both he and someone else, my piano professor from my college, like they both have believed in me and believed in that song ever since I shared it. Like the fall after I wrote it, I shared it with them, and they're like, "You've got to get this out there." And so they both like poured their heart into getting this like as perfect as it could be. And like they're just so encouraging. And like both of these people are like industry giants. Like they have so many connections, and yet they decided to help me with this. Like it was just very, very kind, very encouraging. Um, but yeah, that's really the story of Love Can Be, and just the fact that so many people all over the world have connected with it, resonated with it, has just blessed me immensely.
Grew up believing, with wholehearted dreaming, that I'd find my prince someday. He would come riding on a white stallion and whisk me away. But I found that glass lovers are not all that glitters, and dreams don't always come true. But no fantasy could ever compare to what I found in you. 'Cause I found so much more than Prince Charming. Found a man who was honest and kind, one who gives of himself before others. I'm so blessed to call you mine, and it's so much more than a fairy tale, far beyond anything I could dream. How beautiful love can
Yeah. It reminds me of like a Disney song. And I know that you said that in the
Yeah,
TikTok.
I did. Well, yeah, it's so funny. I feel like our entire relationship, my husband and I, like we love like Disney. Like we went there for our honeymoon. Go figure. um, but we love like the sweetness of those fairy tales. And some people might think, oh well, like that's definitely like kind of a childhood dream, but is that reality? Well, for us, in a lot of ways, it crossed over into reality. Like, but I think it also says in that song, like, you know, real love is more than what the fairy tales say. Like, it's when you dream of those fairy tales when you're so little, like, you have like this pristine outlook on life, and obviously when you get older, that pristine look on life changes a lot. Sometimes it's not nearly the same kind of thing, but um I was never expecting like love, like the relationship that I have with my husband is just so sweet still. And I think that was the perspective that I was coming from, was like kind of like a grown up, a matured idea of a fairy tale ending. um so it's obviously not going to be perfect, but I just think it's so sweet. So yeah.
What does it like mean for you to like hear that people are like getting engaged to it or dancing to it at their wedding?
Oh my gosh, I'm telling you, it just the messages that I've received in my inbox sometimes make me literally cry actual tears. Like it's just so
Yeah.
precious. And friends send me stuff all the time, like my friend that I didn't even know is like she doesn't even know you and she's using your song in her wedding, like sending me videos of them like dancing on the dance floor, and I'm just like, this is just so incredible. It feels like it's expanded beyond me
Yeah.
in such a sweet way, and I'm just so encouraged that so many people can relate, and that it's a song that really kind of defines a lot of people's relationships with their husband. And the fact that I was able to write that like is just so humbling to me. So I'm just incredibly grateful. Truly, this is actually really the first love song I think I've ever written, because most of the songs that I write are worship music. But this song has inspired me to write more songs for the people that I love, and more songs inspired by my husband. But recently I also finished a song, very much similar kind of thing, where it's like you wait on it for years and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, it's all there. And I wrote it for my dad for Father's Day. And so I think that could be a song that brides may want to have as their like father-daughter dance. Like I'm exploring different avenues of songwriting that I really enjoy and I hadn't really explored before. But yeah, like you said, like it's just such a cool thing to get to know all these different people's stories, that I never would have known otherwise. But like through a song that I wrote, just crazy to me. So yeah.
I'm also like a huge music fan of Lauren Spencer Smith, and I saw that because she always like writes like sad, dark songs, and she finally wrote a love song. It's so amazing how you could go from writing the songs that you usually write to like new genre, new kind of style, and those are
Yeah.
the hits.
Yeah, you really expand your horizons. You kind of learn like what your strengths are, and like yeah, you kind of build on that. That's really cool. I love that.
Did you get married in the pandemic? Because the pandemic was crazy.
That was crazy town. So we actually got married in May of 2021. So it was definitely not over, but it was a lot less bad. I think it was right when everyone was kind of like, okay, like we can do certain things. Um, and we had like a good amount of people there, but like we were all kind of like not super in each other's faces, which is good. So but somehow by the grace of God, it worked out. And oh my gosh, and here's a whole nother thing. This is like a part of my husband and I's story. He used to be in the army, and during the summer of 2020, like at the beginning of that summer is when he had originally asked like me and my parents for their blessing and all of that fun stuff. Like right, like it was like March that he um asked us that, and then that was when everything started, and then he was in the army, and so we had to do basic training for the entire summer. So we spent like 7 months apart.
Mm.
And then as soon as like his basic training was ended, I went to go visit him, and he like officially like proposed the next day in August. um and then but that like because he was in the army, we had to change our wedding day last minute. Yeah, it was like it's one of his training weekends or something he couldn't change. But somehow we were able to get all of our vendors and everything. Still, it was just 5 days later than we were originally planning. But yeah, that was just on in the pandemic. It was crazy.
Yeah.
So but it just feels like life just hasn't stopped since then.
I know. Yeah, like it's kind of weird because I started high school in the pandemic, and this year I'm
Wow.
graduating. So
Oh
like
my gosh, congrats. That's so awesome.
yeah,
Wow.
Yeah, but it went by fast. Like, I started the podcast in the pandemic, and I was
Yeah. And
so
look at you. I mean, it's so cool. I was listening to some of your episodes before we got on. I was just like, man, like this is so cool. And you started so young, like you're doing great. So yeah.
What is it like writing a song? Like, for example, like writing your wedding song or any song, like how like does that process all go?
So I'm sure many songwriters, they all have their own kind of methods. And I have asked the same thing to other songwriters, and sometimes the answer is kind of like, what do you mean? Because I'm kind of the same way. Like it really just depends. There are times where the lyrics come first, where I write it like a poem and the melody flows after, but that's rare. Most of the time I come up with the melody and the lyrics at the same time,
Yeah.
on the spot, and it's kind of like I'm just singing something, and then, or I will make a melody and then kind of fit in the lyrics into that melody. Um, for Love Can Be, I think I had the lyrics mostly first,
Mhm.
and the tail end of the chorus, the how beautiful love can be, that was actually going to be an entirely different melody. It was like how beautiful love can be, but like just little tweaks, you kind of make those afterwards. I wanted to set everything in for that song, like I have these words that I really really want to say, and then I can tweak all the melody after, because my strength as a songwriter is melody, certainly. Um, I believe that I've come a long way in my lyrics. I still have a long way to go, but melody and chords is definitely what I like. I think those are my strengths. But yeah, and like if I come up with like a lyric and melody slash chord part,
Mhm.
I don't necessarily know when I write it if this is going to be part of the verse or part of the chorus or part of the bridge. Like I just kind of write it, and
Mhm.
um then I kind of piece in around it. I have like on my notes app, I'll just like fill in above and below and cut and paste and all of that until I feel like this looks good. Um so yeah, crazy process.
Yeah. Yeah, I've had numerous songwriters on here and everybody's process is like different. So
hmm Yeah.
cool.
And it's funny. It's like you can't really tell anyone like this is my process, because in my experience, all of my songwriter friends and all the people that I've talked to that also write songs, like they can all say like it changes almost every time I write a song. It really just kind of depends. And I wish that there was like a clean cut way. That way it would be easier to teach, or to kind of share that. But I mean, it's kind of just whatever works for you.
Is there like an artist or like entertainer that like you look up to like from their success?
Okay. So I have a couple. Um, early on in my songwriting journey, I listened to Audrey Assad a ton. She was a Christian artist. She would like, but most of like her like piano licks and everything really inspired the way that I play now. And she always would play and sing. That was her forte, is piano and singing. And I was like, I love the way that she writes. I love the chords that she uses. She writes worship songs in a way that I hadn't heard on the radio. Like I really want to. So she really inspired me in that. And now I feel like I listen to a lot of different artists. I listen to a lot of like indie folk artists, but one that I started listening to in 2020 and now she's a viral success is Lizzie McAlpine. I love her style of writing. um, there are a couple songs that she uses and she personifies like objects in the room. It's just so cool, like the imagery that she creates. Like I love her soft, gentle vocals. And she can really like punch it if she wants to, but that is my style of singing, is really gentle. And so I love her styling in that.
Mhm.
Um, gosh, there's really a lot, but I feel like those two inspired me the most. Oh, and Dodie, she is also another artist who has her musical journey has evolved so much since once I first found her in like 2015. But she now like writes her own string parts and like all of this cool stuff, which is not usually seen in pop music. So I love their each of them have like unique qualities, but combined is kind of what inspired me in my journey.
Do you have like any advice for people out there that want to do what you do or anything or even TikTok?
Mm. Do not be discouraged when you are sharing your heart on social media and it doesn't like generate the kind of traction that you're looking for. Success is not numbers based. You know, if one person hears what you do and loves it, that's success. You need to define success according to like, you know, what that really means to you. But for me, success is just like if one person is moved or touched by what I create, I've done a good job. Because social media, especially in this climate, is so unforgiving. And like, even if you do find some success on there, like, you know, it's not, some people might say that's not enough, or, you know, like it's just this constant pressure to keep creating, keep creating, keep creating. But also don't be afraid to like take time for yourself. You being creative on like a time clock is just not a good mix. Like you need to be gracious with yourself and really enjoy what you do, because if you're creating stuff for other people, it's you're not creating it for you, and trying to please other people, you will never please everybody. So I think if I could consolidate all of that, do it for you and be gracious with yourself, and don't be discouraged by social media.
What's next for you? Like any upcoming like stuff that you could say?
This summer has been insane, to be honest. We just moved from Virginia to Texas, and we've been here for like 5 days. So we're just getting our feet wet, you know. But once we're fully settled, I have an idea. I have a couple ideas. I have been consolidating all my songs, and once I find like a good producer, good mix engineer, mastering engineer nearby, or I might send it to some of my friends in Nashville, I want to start work on my first album. Um, Thanks. I'm excited. I have a mix of all sorts of different songs, stories, both worship songs and not worship songs. So I'm excited. I think it's going to be really cool. But something else that I want to do more soon is, I'm trying to think about this because I really, really, really want to make an acoustic guitar version of Love Can Be. And I have the perfect friend to do it. I just need to be able to like get everything set up and see if I can maybe record with some good quality stuff. But I've had that dream for a hot minute, and I would love to try to get that out by the fall. But if not this fall, next fall, you know, I'm trying not to push myself or squeeze myself too much, because it's a lot of like, Love Can Be, the production for that went from like February until it released in end of May. So that's just for one song, two songs technically. So for an album, it's going to be a hot minute, but I want to take my time. I want it to be, you know, as good as it can be. And also, like we were saying about like being creative, you don't want to like really crunch yourself too much, or else it kind of drains all the creativity and the fun out of it. But those are my upcoming projects. I'm really excited about them, and I will definitely keep you updated.
I know that's exciting, having an album.
Yeah, thanks. It's a big step, because I feel like in like today's climate, I feel like so many artists are starting with singles, and some of them just continue to do singles. But your first album is like a big milestone, so I want it to be really good. I'm excited. I have so many friends in the industry who've done this kind of thing that I can ask, like, hey, tell me your process in this. So it'll be fun.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
Thanks, Brooke.
Yeah.
So sweet.
Where could people follow you if they want to?
Oh, yes. All right. Instagram at re.beccatomes, Rebecca Toms. And then TikTok, it's at re.beccarea, Rebecca Ray. That's my middle name. So yeah, thank you so much for having me, Brooke. This was so much fun.
Yeah, it was. I had so much fun. I can't believe I found you on TikTok.
I know. I can't believe it either.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it's really crazy how much social media can like open up for people. But I hope we can stay in touch and keep me updated on everything. I'll keep listening to your podcast. And I can't wait until this episode comes out.
How beautiful love can be. How beautiful love can be. Love can
Thank you so much for listening and watching to My World with Stories podcast. For more info, go to Instagram and Facebook at My World with Stories podcast, and make sure that you give us a like, a subscribe, a follow, whatever you want. Do it because we love you guys so much. And thanks for